Some battles are fought over land, some are fought over pride, but a few rare battles are fought against fate itself. A battle so impossible, so unthinkable, that by every calculation, it should have ended in crushing defeat. Yet history remembers it for one reason, because the side destined to lose didn't. This is the story of the battle no one was supposed to win. For weeks, the world had been watching the conflict unfold like a slow-motion disaster. Two armies stood separated by a vast plain of mud, barbed wire, and broken earth. One side possessed overwhelming numbers, tanks, artillery, aircraft, endless supplies, and a confident belief that victory was inevitable. Their commanders had already drafted the victory speeches. Their soldiers marched with the arrogance of a force that had never tasted failure. On the other side stood an army that barely existed on paper, outnumbered, outgunned, and nearly out of time. Their weapons were old, their supplies thin, their reinforcements non-existent. Many of their soldiers were farmers, teachers, and factory workers who had traded their tools for rifles. Their uniforms were mismatched, their boots worn, and their rations too few to last the month. Logic said they should surrender. History said they should fall. Destiny said they would lose. Yet they stood their ground. The first day of the attack came with a roar that shook the sky. Hundreds of artillery shells rained down like iron meteors, tearing apart trenches, bunkers, and anyone unfortunate enough to be inside them. The defenders were swallowed in smoke and fire, yet the survivors held on, digging deeper into the craters for cover. By noon, the enemy tanks appeared, an armored wall rolling across the plain. Their engines growled like beasts, their cannons flashing. Every step forward crushed the earth, the wire, and the hope of those who stood against them. But then something happened that no map, no intelligence report, no general had predicted. The defenders fought back. A small group of anti-tank teams scavenging leftover rockets, using improvised traps, even planting explosives beneath patches of mud, struck from the shadows. Tank after tank burst into flames. Black smoke rose across the field. The impossible had started. The unstoppable was slowing down. For the first time, the attackers hesitated. Night fell, but the battle did not rest. The sky glowed orange from burning machines. The defenders used the darkness, slipping between craters, repositioning without being seen. They shared their last canteens of water, their last cartridges, their last promises to each other. By dawn, the enemy launched wave after wave of infantry. They came in thousands, confident that sheer numbers would crush whatever resistance remained. But the defenders had something no general could measure: will. Men and women who had nothing left to lose fought with a fury that defied exhaustion. Snipers from ruined farmhouses picked off officers. Machine gunners fired until their barrels overheated. Medics worked in the open, ignoring bullets as they dragged the wounded to safety. The ground turned into a nightmare of smoke, blood, and mud. Yet still, the line held. By the third day, the attackers changed tactics. They brought in airstrikes, squadrons of bombers circling like steel vultures. Villages vanished beneath their blasts. Forests were set ablaze. The earth itself seemed to rip apart. And still, the defenders refused to fall. Each hour was borrowed time. Each minute was a miracle. Then came the turning point. The moment that transformed a hopeless defense into a legend. A sudden storm rolled in from the mountains, unleashing torrents of rain that drowned the battlefield. Tanks sank into mud. Vehicles stalled. Bombers struggled to see their targets. The enemy's technological advantage vanished in seconds. For the defenders, it was the gift they had prayed for. Under the cover of the storm, they launched a counterattack. Not a massive, well-planned assault, just small, swift strikes from every direction. Ambushes in the woods, hit-and-run raids, sabotage behind enemy lines. They turned chaos into a weapon. The attackers, confused and frustrated, began to crumble. By the fifth day, the impossible had become reality. The invading army, once unstoppable, was retreating. Soldiers who expected an easy victory now fled through mud and ruins, abandoning equipment, supplies, even their own wounded. Their arrogance shattered, their confidence drowned in the same storm that saved their enemies. When the defenders finally walked across the field, they had died to protect. They saw the cost of their victory. Thousands of comrades gone, villages destroyed, a homeland scarred forever. But they had won. A battle no one expected them to win. A battle the world thought was already over before it began. A battle where fate itself seemed to pick a side and lost. History remembers the great generals, the brilliant strategies, the mighty empires. But this victory belonged not to powerful leaders but to ordinary people who chose not to surrender. They proved that sometimes strength is not measured in numbers, firepower, or steel. Sometimes strength is the courage to stand when everyone else believes you will fall. And that is why this moment, this story, this battle will be remembered as the battle no one was supposed to win.